And welcome to Monday. I like this shot with the phone monolith and the black large coffee cup. I like stationary shots with slight movement, so you know it's alive and not a still picture. Okay, lots of things to talk about. I just speak from the heart and what's on the front of my imagination. I talk about what's in the front of my imagination. The Atlas Earth. I sit in my car for hours and think about what to say while I'm playing phone games. Here's Atlas Earth. I was just playing Best Play and a game called Ball Sort Puzz. I've made 43 cents on it since yesterday or something. Not a very big payout, is it? Not enough to buy things. Need more money. I need 10 times that amount, if not 100 times. Okay. And then I've got the Lego Joker. I actually found the right eyebrow. It was on the dashboard somewhere. By chance, I found it. I'm glad. It was no fun having the Joker missing an eyebrow. So here's this game. Looks like a run out of rent boost. And I've earned $8.59 on top of the $45 that I've actually been paid. Did I just make a sentence? I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big fan of that phrase. Boost rent. Catchphrases. American slang. Oh, the spoken word, spoken language, as opposed to reading books and then getting your verbal source material from books, as opposed to hearing pop songs and incorporating that into your dialogue. Whatever's popular, brah. Okay. But to be an individual, you have to find your own way to talk. Subject rewards. Okay, X out of this crap. British people can get away with swearing on YouTube because it's charming. Okay. Whereas with someone like me, swearing can become very coarse. So we were just watching Batman Returns, a movie I like more than I ever did. I really didn't like it when I saw it in the theaters. Well, I didn't think it was as good as the first one. And that awful nose-biting scene with the penguin. It's horrible. It's like the ear-cutting scene in Reservoir Dogs. Those are two scenes I just cannot watch in a movie, and I don't see who would ever derive pleasure from watching that. I think it was Michael Madsen who was cutting the ear, and it even freaked him out to do that scene. So I don't like violence and gore. in films. Doesn't do anything for me. What are we doing? I am going to show you Best Play, since Atlas Earth zonked out. It's bright. Yesterday was very windy here, which made it no fun. So the main purpose of this video is to read from Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. I don't know if anyone talks about the Da Vinci Code anymore, either the book or the movie, or if people care about it, or if it has resonance in popular culture. Might be like 50 Shades of Grey, where just no one cares about it anymore. I am not sure. So I have to earn coins within 3 hours and 17 minutes. So I can get the coins and then cash out within the 4-hour time period. Dot link. It's an amazingly tedious game, because you play the level and then 10 seconds in, they give you an ad, which is frustrating when you're trying to solve a puzzle. It's like giving an ad in the middle of doing a math problem. So I think they ought to pay me more for playing these games. All the ads I have to watch. I don't participate in this postcards event. So tedious and annoying. Try and X out of this page. They don't always make it easy to see where to X out sometimes. They just want their players to be frustrated. Level 77. There's free play. I don't know what that does. And then you solve the puzzle. You can't even see it. I gotta show you, since I've got you here. So you just connect the dots, and it can be challenging. I'll do that on my own time. Okay. So Michael Keaton is great as Batman, and it's too bad he didn't do the third one. But famously, he did an interview for the third movie, and he asked them what they were planning to do with the Batman character, what the arc was, what the development of the character was. And they had no plans for that. And in retrospect, what they should have done is ask Michael Keaton, well, what is it that you would like to have happen with the Batman character? Where do you want to go with it? I mean, he's the guy playing the character. There has to be some emotional interest in it for him to put on that heavy plastic leather outfit that weighs a lot. So, no deal. And bless Val Kilmer's heart for doing as good a job as he could. He didn't do bad, but the movie was a disaster, as you know. I thought Batman Returns was kind of a disaster. It's supposed to be for kids or teenagers, and that nose-biting scene is just too gruesome for kids to watch. It's too gruesome for anyone to watch. I can't even watch it now. Alright, the Da Vinci Code. We're getting around to that. The trick is to read and film at the same time. Okay, prologue. I read the cover, front and back, and these pages in a previous video, so now we're at the prologue. Let's see if I like the prose style. Prologue. Take 2. Louvre Museum, Paris, 10:46 p.m. It already seems tedious to me, so that would mean at night. Renowned curator Jacques Sommier staggered through the vaulted archway of the museum's grand gallery. Okay, so far so good. He lunged toward the nearest painting he could see, a Caravaggio. Grabbing the gilded frame, the 76-year-old man heaved the masterpiece toward himself until it tore from the wall, and Sommier collapsed backward in a heap beneath the canvas. Okay. An art thief. As he had anticipated, a thundering iron gate fell nearby, barricading the entrance to the suite. The parquet floor shook. Far off, an alarm began to ring. Who wrote this, Snoopy? It was a dark and stormy night. The curator lay a moment, gasping for breath, taking stock. I am still alive, in italics. He crawled out from under the canvas and scanned the cavernous space for some place to hide. A voice spoke, chillingly close. Do not move. On his hands and knees, the curator froze, turning his head slowly. Only 15 feet away outside the sealed gate, the mountainous silhouette of his attacker stared through the iron bars. He was broad and tall, with ghost-pale skin and thinning white hair. His irises were pink with dark red pupils. The albino drew a pistol from his coat and aimed the barrel through the bars, directly at the curator. You should not have run. His accent was not easy to place. Now tell me where it is. I told you already, the curator stammered, kneeling, defenseless on the floor of the gallery. I have no idea what you are talking about. You are lying. The man stared at him, perfectly immobile except for the glint in his ghostly eyes. You and your brethren possess something that is not yours. The curator felt a surge of adrenaline. How could he possibly know this? Okay. Am I intrigued? Do I care? I like art, and I like museums, and I like artists, and I like Caravaggio, except he did some bad things. He did one bad thing that is so horrible, I can't even mention it on YouTube, except to say that he cut off a piece of anatomy from a man. And that got him banned from the city he was living in, which was not good for Caravaggio, because that's where all his art business was. Michelangelo Caravaggio, I think was his name. So there's two Michelangelos. Michelangelo Baronati is the famous one. Caravaggio isn't as well known unless you go to museums or love art history. But he's still a great painter. They made a movie about him. I watched it. I enjoyed the movie. I I enjoy biographical movies. I like information about people's lives because it guides me in my own life. Tells me what not to do. Okay, don't get a sword and cut off someone's hand, for example. Don't bite someone's nose and don't cut off someone's ear. Okay, that is very good advice, all those things. Okay. How's my phone game? I always have to check up on it all the time, all day long. My Minecraft world is coming along. That'll be in the next video. Okay. I got stuck underground in Minecraft yesterday, and it was a whole adventure to find my way out of the dungeon. I got lost. I'll explain that. It is all very complicated to do right now. Maybe I could just hold the camera stationary. And we were watching The Princess Bride last night and fell asleep to it. Very good movie. It's better than I ever thought it was when I first saw it. I was thrown off by the Fred Savage stuff. And I didn't know anything about the book. I'd never heard of it. The curator felt a surge of adrenaline. How could he possibly know this? Tonight the rightful guardians will be restored. Tell me where it is hidden and you will live. The man leveled his gun at the curator's head. Is it a secret you will die for? I generally don't like guns. It's an awful weapon. Is it? Sommier could not breathe. The man tilted his head, peering down the barrel of his gun. Or is it Sonnier? I can't tell. Sonnier could not breathe. The man tilted his head, peering down the barrel of his gun. Sonnier held up his hands in defense. Wait, he said slowly. I will tell you what you need to know. The curator spoke his next words carefully. The lie he told was one he had rehearsed many times, each time praying he would never have to use it. When the curator had finished speaking, his assailant smiled smugly. Yes, this is exactly what the others told me. Is it Sonnier or Sommier? It's frustrating. It's Sonnier. The U and the M got me confused. There we go. Sonnier held up his hands in defense. Wait, he said slowly. I will tell you what you need to know. The curator spoke his next words carefully. The lie he told was one he had rehearsed many times, each time praying he would never have to use it. When the curator had finished speaking, his assailant smiled smugly. Yes, this is exactly what the others told me. I just read that part. Sonnier recoiled. The others? I found them too, the huge man taunted. All three of them. They confirmed what you have just said. It cannot be. The curator's true identity, along with the identities of his three seneschals, was almost as sacred as the ancient secret they protected. Sonnier now realized his seneschal, following strict procedure, had told the same lie before their own deaths. It was part of the protocol. I'm not good at French, as you know. I dated a French woman for a short time. She was wonderful. Christelle. Alright. I remember her still. She was a nice girl. Things were very complicated for me during my 20s. I was busy with school, making $5 an hour at the cafe. So I was broke all the time. I was riding a bike around LA. If you want the audiobook of the Da Vinci Code, I am sure it's available for free on YouTube. Or you can listen to me. Let's see. The attacker aimed his gun again. When you are gone, I will be the only one who knows the truth. The truth. In an instant, the curator grasped the true horror of the situation. If I die, the truth will be lost forever. Instinctively, he tried to scramble for cover. The gun roared, and the curator felt a searing heat as a bullet lodged in his stomach. Ooh. He fell forward, struggling against the pain. Slowly, Saunier rolled over and stared back through the bars at his attacker. The man was now taking dead aim at Saunier's head. Saunier closed his eyes, his thoughts a swirling tempest of fear and regret. The click of an empty chamber echoed through the corridor. The curator's eyes flew open. Do I like this book so far? I like art. I like art history. Do I like art thieves? Do I care about art thieves? I was a student of Da Vinci, meaning that I used to have books on him, at least one. And I would study his art, and I read about his life. I even painted one version of the Mona Lisa. My brother started it, and I continued work on it, and it was in my previous car, and the car got stolen along with my Mona Lisa painting. So I wonder if they retrieved the painting from the car. It also had my Van Gogh studies, 3 or 4 of them, of the Starry, Starry Night. So if anyone bothered to look inside my car, they would have got some nice art. I'm not necessarily in the mood to read this book. I'd have to start it over on my own time. So I can get the feel for it. It just seems like standard supermarket novel stuff so far. It's a thriller. Saunier closed his eyes, his thoughts a swirling tempest of fear and regret. The click of an empty chamber echoed through the corridor. The curator's eyes flew open. The man glanced down at his weapon, looking almost amused, as the book is being written for a supermarket kind of audience, is my feeling. He reached for a second clip, but then seemed to reconsider, smirking calmly at Saunière's gut. My work here is done. So if you've never heard of this book before and you see it in the supermarket or a bookstore, they don't even have bookstores anymore. And you see the cover, now major motion picture. Oh, I guess I should read the book since it was made into a movie. I'll read the book before I go see the movie. With Tom Hanks, I think. The man glanced down at his weapon, looking almost amused. What if H.P. Lovecraft had written this book? He reached for a second clip, but then seemed to reconsider, smirking calmly at Saunière's gut. My work here is done. The sentences would be longer if it was written by H.P. Lovecraft. The curator looked down and saw the bullet hole in his white linen shirt. It was framed by a small circle of blood, a few inches below his breastbone. My stomach, in italics. Almost cruelly, the bullet had missed his heart. As a veteran of La Guerre d'Algérie, I'm terrible with French. La Guerre d'Algérie. The curator had witnessed this horribly drawn-out death before. For 15 minutes, he would survive as his stomach acids seeped into his chest cavity, slowly poisoning him from within. I'm an American. I don't speak French. Pain is good, monsieur, the man said. Then he was gone. Alone now, Jacques Saunière turned his gaze again to the iron gate. Jacques Cousteau. He was trapped and the doors could not be reopened for at least 20 minutes. By the time anyone got to him, he would be dead. Even so, the fear that now gripped him was a fear far greater than that of his own death. I must pass on the secret. Staggering to his feet, he pictured his 3 murdered brethren. He thought of the generations who had come before them. You're always supposed to look at the reader when you read. I forgot. Forgive me. I apologize. Of the mission with which they had all been entrusted. An unbroken chain of knowledge. In italics, the author wrote. Suddenly now, despite all the precautions, despite all the fail-safes, Jacques Saunière was the only remaining link, the sole guardian of one of the most powerful secrets ever kept. Wow. Shivering, he pulled himself to his feet. I must find some way. He was trapped inside the grand gallery, and there existed only one person on earth to whom he could pass the torch. Saunière gazed up at the walls of his opulent prison. A collection of the world's most famous paintings seemed to smile down on him like old friends. Wincing in pain, he summoned all his faculties and strength. The desperate task before him, he knew, would require every remaining second of his life. So that's the prologue. I got through it. Here's chapter 1. I will have to read the prologue again on my own time so I can get the rhythm of the prose and the action taking place. That was a very skeptical reading. You know, Earnest Hemingway had an influence on all these supermarket novelists. He was a journalist, so he wrote prose directly to the point without any hullabaloo or fanfare. It's an American writing style. Kind of like Silence of the Lambs, if you ever read that. The movie is way better than the book. The book is just kind of a supermarket thriller like that. I read the book out of obligation because I really liked the movie and still do.